Josh Inglis of Covers.com to discuss the Four Nations face-off, which is going on tonight, and we are pumped about that. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Very happy to see you. How excited are you for this game tonight?
Maybe the most bet on game of the year, maybe the most talked about hockey game of the last decade. It's going to be, I mean, this game means a lot. Like, people that, like, it's a Thursday. People are making plans. And, like, from what this tournament started as, where people were like, are they going to really even try, to what we saw last Saturday, to now how the cards folded, and Gary Bettman and the NHL are probably so happy that it's not USA versus Finland or USA versus Sweden, and he got his game. What's going to happen tonight? And you guys talked about, like, the rawness of what hockey is, and the buildup and the anticipation and the hatred and the booing of the anthem and the 51st state stuff. They're like, there's a lot of stuff outside of the game that's not really happening. But on the ice, no sport can actually correlate those feelings into the play like hockey can. And we saw it in the first 9 seconds on Saturday night in the Bell Center. So anything is possible tonight, and I think that's why we're starting to get this electric buzz for this game. And this is even just outside of a betting thing. We've become so kind of numb to fandom, especially I have. I bet constantly. I get it. But now this is a fandom thing, and it's bringing feelings that I haven't had in a long time, especially national ones in terms of hockey and what it means to this country. This is, and we got to pick them, and we got a 5.5 total. Like, everything's lining up to be maybe the most perfect game. And this is just a precursor for the Olympics. So everybody's excited. We got everything we want on paper for this game. We've had the pre-tilt. We've seen what that was, and anything can go tonight.
Well, if that doesn't get me pumped up for this, I don't know what does. This is very exciting.
I mean, it's true, right? Like, and yeah. It's funny, Josh, because you bring that up, and it's like, when we look at this, there are so many other layers, I guess you could say, to like a U.S. Canada, we call it a rivalry, whatever it wants to be at this point. But over 10 million watched the last game before we get this rematch here, and you know, I as somebody that I've spent most of my time covering the NBA and the NFL, and I spent a year covering the Capitals and the NHL in DC. Actually, it was like during the pandemic. And I remember like talking about betting on hockey, but like people were still kind of like new to it and kind of trying to figure out like what they like to bet on and you know, where it was. How much do you think that just this tournament and this matchup and the audience, the massive audience that we've already seen for this, how much do you think that helps from a hockey perspective, but also from just more of an interest maybe in betting on hockey moving forward?
It's interesting because if you follow hockey touts and cappers, that it's a really hard sport to handicap because of the variance and the puck luck in which it is. So sides and totals are tough to live and die by. That's why you see an increase in the prop betting market. But when we have tournaments like this, where you're rolling 4 lines and guys aren't playing 20 minutes, guys are now playing 17 and a half minutes, and guys who usually are PP1 aren't even on the power play, it's kind of a tricky tournament to go full divulge into that prop market and be profitable. And a lot of the places are only offering one-way markets because it's a hard thing to price, so they're worried about their own risks. In terms of where its growth is within betting, I think the more growth is just in the sport itself. And it kind of goes back to the thing of like, we haven't seen that in, 5, 6, 7 years. And hockey betting will be there. But I don't think specifically that this has really controlled or exasperated the thirst for betting in hockey, because it's been a very difficult tournament to handicap. Sweden didn't lose a game in regulation, and they're out of the tournament. Like, it was a 3-game tournament, round robin. It's a difficult spot, but there are some spots. I mean, savvy bettors. I mean, like, instead of maybe betting on the USA money line, you could go look at Connor Hellebuck for MVP around 220. You could also maybe add in Zach Werenski. He might be the only other guy in the tournament for the USA side. He's 25-1. There's other ways to look into the markets for this tournament, not just so much side total, maybe a point or two, but from the offerings, there's some things to dig into for sure.
Yeah, and so when it comes to betting things like the total, so if you were going to, with the intensity of this game, with what we saw on Saturday night, with the fights, and I know there's probably no prop for over under on how many fights and how many seconds and how many, because that's incredible. Like how many fights in 9 seconds or whatever that was insane. But with the intensity and the national pride that goes into each side of this game, do you think this will be a higher scoring game, or will it lend to a lower scoring game and take the under of 5.5 goals, or the over if it's more intense?
30 points is a lot to take on that under 5.5. And I mean, it's probably going to be like kind of the same intensity that we saw on Saturday. Maybe some early scoring and then things shut down. That's kind of been the MO for a lot of teams in this tournament. Start off early scoring and then kind of just more timid play, don't take any chances, and then we're seeing fewer goals later in the games. But in this spot, with everything on the line, you're going to see maybe some unique situations, and you saw it in the Finland game, where goalies will be pulled, maybe down 4 goals, like 4-1, goalie pulled, no problem, early. So there will be some spots where you could get backdoored on the over here just from something that you wouldn't normally see in an NHL game. So that one kind of worries me. So if I was suggesting people to bet on the total here, maybe a better price point would be a team total under 2.5 on the side that you're against. That's minus 110 aside, as this game is a pick'em. So you wouldn't want to get burned by that empty net goal, like down 4-0, down 5-0. Like anything can really happen because everything's on the line. But maybe a small prediction. This is just kind of subjective. Early scoring, and then things shut down late because, I mean, the U.S. played such a great defensive game Saturday night. It was just Canada, dump it in. Retrieval was amazing from the U.S. and out quick and then back in and shift. And when you have 4 lines, you can get away with that. So kind of expecting that. Yes. Do I lean on the under? Yes. Do I want to buy it at minus 130? Certainly not. I think there's better avenues.
I like it very much. I can't wait to bet on this game. Go both teams. Hope both teams have fun. Josh Inglis of Covers.com, thank you so much for joining us.
Good. I'm excited. Not just for all the patriotism, obviously, like Nick was just mentioning a couple minutes ago, but I think it gives us all a reason to wear our Stars and Stripes bikini briefs that I think we all have a matching pair, I presume.
Obviously.
Right?
Oh, you have one too? I have the same pair.
Yeah.
We
Look,
might have the same pair, I bet. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that on camera. Come on, Ashooh. What do I look like? I heard your Sidney Crosby blasphemy, and it's excusable for today. Mm-hmm. For today only. Yeah. It's excusable because USA.
Yeah. USA. Yeah. So I would assume you're taking USA money line as well, because how could you not right now?
I mean, if you're going to bet this game, that's what you have to go with, right? In all seriousness, and nobody's neutral in this thing, we've all got a side, obviously. If I were just a neutral bettor, I would look at this game and go, no thanks. I'm not touching this thing. I mean, there are some player props like, the Kachuk brothers are each basically 3-1 plus 290 at BetMGM to score a goal. You got to think they're going to come out with their hair on fire. McDavid has a really good number, I think, for multiple points. Crosby's got a decent number for multiple points. Austin Matthews, 5+ shots, I think, is a nice prop that, with him healthy again after getting the Sweden game off, maybe it's an opportunity for him to come out hair on fire as well. But I'm just there with my bowl of popcorn, just getting ready for the game tonight. Yeah. I can't wait for it. Think about it. We've got a Game 7 in the middle of February during an All-Star break.